Alrighty, welcome back. Episode 2 of the, like we said, we don't have a name, Southend podcast so far.
Yeah.
Jack Hemmings here, one of the owners of Southend CrossFit in Maroubra in the southeastern suburbs of Sydney, right near the beach. Lovely little spot. I'm sat here with my business partner, Jacob Holt, who is, to answer any questions, not my brother. We've been asked that a lot. Once was asked if you were my dad. Which,
that was harsh. I felt that was a tad harsh.
It was too far. I'm sorry that happened. But yes, Jacob Holt, my business partner. So episode 2, guys. Episode 1 was obviously a huge hit. We'll see how we go with that.
Yeah.
But episode 2 is going to be more on my story. I just said to Jacob before we started, this will be the longest I've ever talked about myself, I think, in my life. So rolling on. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, so with these first 2 episodes, we kind of want to just touch base of like where we're at and what our background was, and then sort of where we're looking to go, and then we're progress from there with a few more different episodes on sort of subjects and questions which interest us, and hopefully you will find interesting as well. How we're starting these first 2 episodes is we created a handbook for Southend. And we started with a little bit of a few paragraphs about how we felt about the gym and our background and vision with it. So I'll read Jack's.
Almost an elevator pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Stuck in an elevator, mate. Long elevator with this one. So this is Jack. So before finding our gym in circa 2018, as a member, I dawdled around the fitness first with no direction, no interaction, and ultimately no progress or consistency. Fast forward to 2024. After years as a member, coach, manager, and now owner, I've changed the way I think about fitness as a lifestyle. I've met some of my best friends, my business partner, and my fiance. You did say you weren't going to do that, but...
Yeah, don't date members. This one worked.
Jack said I'm never going to date a member or anything. I have always spoken out loud how crazy it is to be. Is it to me to have X number of people in one place that are all amazing humans, minus 1 or 2.
I do say that often out loud.
With the privilege of owning Southend and working with incredible coaches and humans. My vision is to bring the same feeling I had of a place to base my health journey and, most important, relationships to as many other people in our community as possible. Through a nice guy service delivering incredible exercise options in an amazing space, we are a place for everyone except dickheads, in brackets that is, to get happier, stronger, fitter. At Southend, we train hard, laugh hard.
Yeah, so that last paragraph there, including the word dickheads and train hard, laugh hard. You literally had those identical words in yours, and we promised we didn't write it together. So,
which was cool, wasn't it? Because you sent it over to me, and I was just like, "Oh, that's so." It's awesome that we're kind of on the same page with that.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Was that hard to write that?
No, it was very easy to do a summary of the problem I was having, how I got to CrossFit Kia Car, how it was back then, your previous business, and then how I feel about it now and where it's taken me. It's in my head. It's how I feel. It's what I say to people when they are asking or they're in a similar situation. So it's very simple, that journey for me, to actually have found a way to go to the gym and not hate it.
Yeah, because I just want to work back a little bit further than that. So around that 2018, because like work-wise, what were you doing before?
I was a builder, commercial builder. So I was at the time, what was my role? It seems like a long time ago now. I was a foreman, so more in a supervisor role.
Not on the tools.
Not on the tools, or very rarely anyway. Supervisor role under the head supervisor of a big company, a big site, and it was that's what I was doing for work. So usually 6 days a week, you're leaving at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever, driving an hour. At the time, my last job, I was driving an hour in the morning and about an hour and a half home every day, 5 or 6 days a week. So even if I compare that to today, it's mental to think about. But that's what I was doing for work. Very stressful. I knew there was good money in it. But ultimately I saw the people that were in the senior positions to me, and I knew I didn't want to be that in forever. And I couldn't be, I don't think.
From when I've heard you talk about it, I feel like you didn't necessarily mind, you didn't hate the job. It was more the people around you and the people above you and people you're working with was more...
Partly, yeah. So the company I work for was really good, really supportive, and I liked my workmates a lot. Like I have really good workmates from then. But it's more it's almost like if you've never been on a construction site, and this is a pretty advanced construction site too. It's not just like an everyday one. Like there's lots of government regulations. Like there's a lot of safety, but it's a little bit like a zoo. Like it's crazy. Like people, instead of saying good morning, they'll say like, "Where the fuck's my pallet of bricks?" or something like that. Like that'll be the first thing they say, and then they'll spit on the floor. And not singling out brickies, but that like it's almost like every day was like, it was just the opposite of my personality. I think like I was, to be successful in my role as a supervisor, I'm not saying this is 100% of the people, but you almost have to be, you have to have that dickhead in you.
Yeah.
Like you have to be ready to argue.
Because they just like walk all over you.
Exactly, yeah. To get shit done. Like it's a crazy industry, and I do respect the people in those roles a lot, and people who work these jobs, because I think they're smart, they're super smart, but they're under a lot of pressure and all that sort of thing. But I was able to, luckily, see that it wasn't going to work for me.
When did you realise when you wanted out? Because you're probably, knowing you're probably just cracking on.
Yeah, it's probably a couple of years where, towards the end, where I started thinking about other options, and owning a gym definitely wasn't one at the time.
Yeah,
I think I'd started to be mates with you, which it was kind of annoying a little bit to see how your lifestyle a little bit. But obviously happy for you as well. But it was a bit annoying. And then I just started to think of other ways that I could potentially have a career, and I got into, I eventually left the job to start my own clothing business online, and that was my way of exiting. And I thought that's something I'd do forever, and evidently that business didn't work out. But it was probably those last couple of years that I was like, I definitely can't do this. Like every day I was waking up going, fuck this.
Yeah. So is that what was striving that, like, because you've got very much like a entrepreneurial sort of mindset, well, you do have now anyway, of trying to think outside the box a little bit. And like for yourself, obviously starting a clothing business is a bit, outside the box, especially from going from a builder to that.
For sure.
Great jeans though. Those girls' jeans you gave me, I wore them for years. Yeah. Lovely around my arse. They were lovely fitting.
They tend to be a bit tighter.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Wide fitting around my arse. And then, so do you feel like you always had that, or do you feel like you developed that because you wanted to get out? Did you show signs of that when you were sort of like, I don't know, 15, 16, 17?
I think it definitely is something that has grown as I got more belief in myself, but I can't remember specifically thinking super entrepreneurial, coming through. Just little dabbles in it. Like when I was building, I did a builder's course to be able to start my own business, like an additional course that you have to do at nights, which is another nightmare in itself. And I even knew when I was doing that course, I was like, fuck, I'm not even going to be a builder anymore. Why am I still showing up here? Yeah. But anyway, there's probably dibbles and dabbles of entrepreneurial sort of thought. But that eventually just snowballed into more and more, almost to the point where it's a bit of a trap in my mind. Yeah. Like I'm constantly thinking along those lines, which I've gotten better at in the last few months. of not seeing every problem in the world and thinking, oh, there's a business I could do in that, because obviously it's not sustainable to do that in your brain. But yeah, I think it's, to answer your question in the most unclear way possible, no, but it grew as I was starting to be that person.
And during this time, were you training at this time?
When I was a builder?
Yeah.
So,
because I know when you got to the gym, you're, should we say, a little chunky. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I thought you were going to use like a little softer word.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, so I had a Fitness First membership for a couple of years, and I don't know, for those listening that, or yourself, you've been on building sites, maybe you're a little bit different. Like, it makes you just want to eat the worst foods.
Yeah, my only reference points really would be all my mates.
Yeah.
And they would all be, I remember him, like a couple of mates just like buying chocolate bars because they were like, yeah, I need the energy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just, and now they're obviously
doesn't
bigger boys, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about, like, lunchtimes. It's like, all right, one person's going to KFC.
Yeah.
How are you going to say no to that? Like,
Yeah.
You're starving. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so I had a gym membership. I tried to motivate myself. Didn't know one person at the gym, which is crazy to think about now, that is even an option. And also, I was like, naturally, I'm a bit shy, so I'm not going to be that guy going up and talking to people at a regular gym either. So it's partly my fault, obviously.
No, it's not your fault. It's the culture they've created in those gyms, and it's just a money making machine.
For sure, yeah.
They're cheap, accessible. A lot of them are 24 hours.
Yeah.
They got good equipment, and it's like getting there.
Yeah.
And it's all about looking a certain way. And you sell your soul basically going to those places.
Yeah. Yeah, they put you on a contract and all that sort of thing, and they have thousands of members to keep up with all this rent and equipment and that sort of thing, but they're just praying that all of them don't rock up on Monday for chest day, because they'd be fucked, obviously. But yeah, so training, I'd gone through patches of...
Sorry, I would have you seen on a Monday these meatheads training chest, and you're just like, oh, hey, how's your sets going? You know? Just go over to them.
Can't even share a bar with them because I'm doing the empty bar.
They either think you're hitting on them or
or they want to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, neither one, mate.
Yeah.
So I'd gone through patches. Like, I remember a time around 20 years old, I just completely stopped the gym. Like, I'd done sport all my life. I was an early adopter of the gym, like amongst my friends, if I could. Yeah. Like in high school, and then around 20, I no exercise at all, always drinking, eating the construction diet.
Yeah.
So when I landed at CrossFit Kiakaha in 2018, I wasn't training really. No. I saw the documentary with my mate Ryan. The CrossFit, the Netflix, which I'm definitely forever grateful for, and I still think it's great. I might watch it tonight, actually. I still think it's great, and they should pump it out a little bit more. But that's what I was like, fuck. I think I thought I was always kind of like slightly above average at all sports. Never like the best, really, but slightly like coordinated and all that sort of thing. I was like, fuck, I think I could do this and like probably go to the games or something. Yeah. Little did I know how brutal that journey would be.
Well, you are coordinated, and you can definitely do majority of the skills and stuff, but the ability, the fitness side, I think some people kind of forget about.
Oh yeah,
there's like how freaky fit you have to be, as well as
there's a freak level of skill you have to be on the top level before you even start, I think. But yeah, that was my training background, and then I think I probably met you on the first day.
Yeah, I remember you coming in. Yeah.
And yeah, then I was literally.
So I think we had double unders in the first day, and you were like good at them, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I had practiced them a lot.
Yeah.
Not for CrossFit, but that was that was me avoiding cardio. Just I'm
right.
like, if I skip, like I'm at least I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of started an obsession a little bit, like obsessed with CrossFit. Like I would watch every CrossFit event, every bit of media I could on CrossFit. And then as well into the Olympic lifting side of things, I was hooked on it. Like I can remember like getting home from a night out, getting my Dominoes in, which I used to have this bad habit of that, and just eating my pizza and watching like the World Championships in Beijing or something, Olympic lifting, because I was just that addicted to it.
Yeah, no, I don't know what that is about being coming home drunk and watching sport, but a lot of people do it. I think I used to do it with like the McGregor docos and stuff. I used to go on YouTube and just get a McGregor motivational like 12-minute video on and just chuck that on.
Get fired up.
Get fired up before bed. Instantly asleep though, straight away.
Yeah, of course.
That's what 12
you never see a full event.
So before that, so obviously we're kind of working backwards from
top down,
wherever gym.
mate.
Yeah, top down. Yeah. Sport.
Yeah, so sport.
You're in.
From I started playing soccer when I was 4, like with the 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
So very early on, my dad was involved in our local club a little bit as whatever he was. Something. He coached a little bit after that.
That's impressive you were doing that.
Yeah.
Trying to get my 5-year-olds to play. Just looking at a daffodil down on the grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if it's maybe more normalized back then, but yeah, it was. I actually remember playing because there was one other kid who was about my age and we were playing up. But Mum said that Dad was like throwing the ball to us like in our face, like when we were almost before we could talk, sort of thing. So there has to be some sort of correlation to being semi-coordinated.
Because what was your family situation?
Or two parents, one mum, one dad, and
it's unusual nowadays.
Which I'm forever like. I would always speak very highly. I've spoken to you numerous times about how I think they're the best.
Yeah.
One older brother, one younger brother. So that also helps as well. I think having the brother situation, sports, like what better environment could you have to, like you've got teammates or competitors.
Were you like competitive growing up between you three?
I don't probably, but
you don't.
I'm not like innately hyper competitive.
No.
But there was probably bits in there. It kind of been nothing. No.
Yeah.
But I can't remember specifically being super competitive with my brothers.
Yeah.
But always playing some sort of ball game, ball sport, ball in the house. Out the front, we lived in a neighbourhood where it was normal to play with your neighbours and play rugby like on the front lawns. Yeah, it was everywhere. And then soccer from 4, like I said, played that all the way up until 11 or 11-ish, yeah. Then I found out about this thing called AFL, which changed my trajectory of my life again, because once I started playing that, ended up being all right at it. Got best and fairest in my first year, best on ground, first game, like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It was almost like it just like suited me.
You were naturally,
it just
suited all your attributes.
Yeah, for some reason, like being slightly taller back then, a bit of a runner's physique, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
About, I don't know how many kilos ago that is, probably about 30. But it just suited me, and that led to several years of AFL, and ended up deciding the school I went to, which was a scholarship for AFL, and the mates group I had. And then it's funny how everything has this knock-on effect in your life just from these little turning points. I
find it interesting with you though, because you obviously find it, you lent towards it, and you were like quite reasonably talented at it or whatever. But you stopped playing, didn't you, at like 17 or so?
Yeah, so in coming up to year 12, so I'd been playing, I was 16, turning 17, I'd played some representative stuff, like state representative, like within the state, not for our state, but the other teams in the state. Playing up to under 18s or all age in a decent level, but not crazy level, like not like the Victorian standard. But then just realizing that, like, there was a point where I thought, when I was about 15 or 16, I was like, I'm 100% going to be an AFL player professionally. Like, I was obsessed. I was addicted to it. All I could do was play, then go home and kick the footy in the backyard with myself. And then it just, I don't know what switched exactly, but it got to the point where I didn't like the level of competitiveness that it demanded. If you don't know AFL, I was a defender, and there's this expectation that even when the ball's 100 meters down the field, you're getting your elbow into the forward that you're on. Like, there's many layers to it, like showing up to training 2 or 3 times a week, showing up to the game 2 hours early with suit pants on. Like, there was this level of professionalism that was expected, the level I was going to, and I just didn't want a bar of it. I didn't like it. I didn't like coaches getting angry. Like, we were still playing local footy.
I kind of understand that. But I could just see you just playing locally and just like enjoying that side, no?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just...
Work took over a bit?
Yeah, I just got sick of it. And then, a year later, after I'd finished high school, I was straight into work like a week, or no, whatever day it was later. And then I was working 6 days a week, and I couldn't even imagine playing footy then. Like, with a 6 day a week work schedule, no way. I know people do it today, and I don't actually know how.
So do you feel like when you got to the gym, it kind of touched on that? Because we do hear that a fair bit, where people, the amount of times guys and girls come in and they're like, I haven't really done much, haven't been that motivated since I stopped playing Gaelic football, netball, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then they start getting into CrossFit space in our gym, and it just scratches the itch a little bit.
For sure. If you want it, there's the competitive side, but there's also, without being competitive, which I'm only kind of secretly competitive sometimes in workouts.
It's hilarious in the gym. Like, we used to, back in the day when we have a whiteboard, and we used to write this was before we could afford TVs, write the workout on a whiteboard, then you'd always write like the scores down. We don't do it too much nowadays. But people would always have their own, be competitive with their own people in their head. You know? Yeah. Not like the fittest guy or the fittest girl. It'd just be like...
Oh, the ones around you.
But sort of like...
Yeah, of course.
He's got 3 kids.
Yeah.
What score did he get?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or she's been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
What did she get?
Yeah, you have your group.
So it's kind of that sort of competitive, but like levels.
Yeah. There's for sure that little side to it. The competitive wasn't the most... Definitely not the most drawing thing. It was like, all of a sudden I've got, I don't know how many skills there is, but I've got all these new skills that I, for one, can learn the names of, then I can learn to do them, and then I can get infinitely better at them, which is the most addictive thing, I think. Like, how often do adults work on new skills, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're at work and they're doing really well at their work, or they have a great family, or they're spending time with their family, but maybe they go on bench press and maybe they get a little bit stronger, or they run and they get faster. But how often do you actually learning skills? There's something there has to be something in your brain that when you're learning a new skill and you also conveniently get fitter or stronger at the same time, or your physique changes, like, I reckon it's fucking cool. And that's why I kept doing it.
Because what I find kind of interesting with you is that over the course of your life, you haven't really been in the fitness industry.
No.
At all.
No.
You've never really coached anyone.
No.
Never really done any personal training. No. But now you own a gym. But it just seems natural and fits you at the same time.
Yeah.
How is that transfer from just going to the gym, being a builder, going to the gym, and then suddenly coaching and then owning a gym?
So I think I've said it to you. I know for sure I said it to you that, and this is going back to me being naturally a little bit shy, especially public speaking, like terrified of that. I remember saying to you that I would never coach, like no way. And this is when I'd already left building, I think, and I was working online. The clothing business wasn't the only thing I've worked on. There's a few other things. But where was I? Oh yeah. So I said to you that I would never coach, probably because of this sort of shyness. I don't know if that's the right word, but and then more and more it became an option, and then it became an option that potentially there could be an opportunity for owning the gym. As you know, you already know all this, and that's when I started with the coaching, and actually fell in love with it. Like, still shitting myself every session before I was about to read the whiteboard out.
Yeah.
Like, still getting a little bit nervous. Still get every now and then, but much more comfortable now. But I fell in love with coaching, and like, it's a unique experience for people that haven't coached. That, like, it doesn't even have to be super complex. Like, little wins that you see people get from just this tiny thing that you said to them, or encourage them, or tweak this. Like, it's very that's addictive in itself. It's very rewarding. So going from the coaching, it was as you know, a long journey from when I first coached to when last August, when I actually bought the 50% of the gym, and that came with going into a manager role with your previous business partner Darren living interstate, and me kind of filling that little void of operations when you weren't around in the gym, to eventually owning the gym with you now since last August. And it's pretty crazy. I would never have thought, obviously. You wouldn't have thought when I first walked in I think it was about September, October-ish. October, because you'd just been married. That I walked into the gym for the first time.
Yeah, okay.
And to now, like, who would have thought?
Is there anything which is like majorly surprised you about owning a gym or owning a business?
I think I mentioned that it was a long process between when we started talking about owning it to when it actually became official. And then that was like, it was probably one of the hardest times, like, stress wise.
Yeah, for sure.
Mentally, for yourself as well. But for sure, like, I wasn't sleeping. Like, it was, there was a lot of details with lawyers and, lawyers mainly.
It was mainly lawyers, wasn't it? Yeah, because everyone else, like, Darren's perspective, mine and yours, were all pretty much, we were all on the same page. We weren't asking for anything crazy, or it was all like, you know, pretty clear, but it's just wouldn't get moving.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Darren were chill. It was fine. We just had.
Perhaps everyone was a bit too chill. I don't know. Looking back on it, I don't know.
Maybe. But the benefit of that was that it extended my time as this manager role. So I almost had this extra deep learning of. I was obviously coaching as well, but deep learning of the function of the business and what needs to be happening for our members to love what's happening. It also came with a bunch of planning time as well, and now getting to that stage and being able to pretty much be all systems go from August, pending some cash flow that we've caught up on. It's kind of a blessing that it took like 2 years, pretty much. About 2 years, at least, probably, to go from the concept to actually...
Instead of it being like Monday, not business owner, Tuesday, business owner.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, there was like this long progression where you kind of just like eased into it.
So I don't think there's not huge surprises, no. Not huge surprises. I was kind of preparing for it the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
Even though it was very painful a lot of the time. Like, it was... It was pretty dark some of those days, for sure. Like, not knowing if it was, like, I'd sort of put other ambitions to the side to focus on this being, like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that meant, like, financially and stress-wise and time-wise, I suffered a little bit for sure, and then, but obviously now I wouldn't change it really. Like it's the best. Like I'm so in love with our gym, like so in love with what we're doing, and stoked every day.
Yeah, and then it's just like, I think one of the best things about having a small business where there's a lot of stress is the excitement of where it could go. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. And I feel like that reflects over into our members, even though we're not, coaching day in, day out, but they can sort of see it and subconsciously even feel it, hopefully, that we're very excited to like push Southend as a business, as a company, which, don't get it twisted, that doesn't mean like we're chasing like the dollar. It means like we're just trying to push the business to make it the best we can make it.
For sure.
Like we're not in it for the money. We're in it to create this entity, this thing which thrives and gives us that little feeling,
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And just more on that, to have this thriving business, the only way to achieve that is to have our community stoked every day. Like,
yeah,
they're not separate things, right? One is not possible without the other. And kind of vice versa. Like, the stronger our business, the stronger we can make the experience as well. Like developing coaches, we can develop the facility.
Oh, it's never ending.
It's never ending.
And that's what I love about it as well, right?
Yeah, there's no ceiling at all. And yeah.
To the moon, baby.
To the moon.
Yeah, nice, mate. Anything any closing thoughts?
Anything
you want to get off your chest?
No, this has been good, mate. It's I think this is just part of us trying to level up everything we do, and I hope our members and maybe some people that are thinking about trying with us as well.
Yeah.
Because we can't obviously see everyone every day, so them having access to us like this was just another layer of like, this is who we are. We're not trying to hide anything at all. Like, we're happy with what we've created, but we're fired up to.
Yeah, it's another level of communication, I think, which we want to try to just keep leaning into.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, mate.
100%.
All right, mate. Well, we'll see everyone on the next one. Thanks, team.
Thank you. Nice work.